Here at the FayWhat Show, we want to introduce you to interesting people who are important and do so much for our LGBTQ plus community. Like this interview today with the Smart Ride founder and owner of Bona Italian, Glen Weinzimer. Good morning, mi gente. Welcome back to the FayWhat Show. So the 20th anniversary of the Smart Ride is right around the corner, and guess who's with us this morning? The freaking founder, because that is how I roll. The founder of the Smart Ride, Glen Weinzimer. Glen also owns my favorite restaurant, like in the freaking world, Bona Italian, in Wilton Manors. And in the past 6 years, the restaurant has raised over 60 grand to help other local organizations as well. We'll be talking about that as well. Glen Weinzimer, welcome to the FayWhat Show. Glen. Glen.
Benjamin, stop.
No, I'm not
Benjamin. I had enough. I'm still sore.
Glen, you know, we're close, but this is a little too close for even me. Glen.
What?
Baby, wake up. It's me.
Oh, we're doing that thing.
What do you mean that thing? It's my show.
I know. I wasn't ready.
Honey, but I just left you like half hour ago. How did this all happen?
I don't know, but I kind of dozed off with Teddy. And I had my sleep apnea machine on, so...
What is this for? Like, does this connect you to the mothership? What is that shit?
We'll take it off. It's just so I can breathe. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Everyone has a way to survive. This is just one of my ways.
Okay. Glen Weinzimer!
Faye, it is so good to see you this morning. It is early.
It really is early. And here's the thing. Like, me and Glen are friends, and we've been,
I want you to hold Teddy.
What is that Teddy's name, Teddy?
I just named him Teddy. You can name him anything you want, but he's got a Smart Ride jersey on. Okay,
can we call him Booger? Or Fart?
We can call him Fart, but Booger, no. He's got nothing hanging out of his nose.
He's so cute, though.
Yes, and he's soft.
Oh, my goodness. And I have a bear that I sleep with, too. I'm not going to lie. I mean, what? It's true. It smells a little.
Tony?
In reference to my beautiful brother, Tony Lima. That I probably should name my teddy bear Tony, but I don't. So this guy is 10 years old, right?
Yeah, because 10th anniversary bear.
Teddy's got a 10-year anniversary from the Smart Ride. Well, we'll have to get into that. We have a lot to talk about with that. That is so cute.
Yeah,
oh my God. Isn't that adorable? I love that.
You should try to get his head through that little jersey. There's something else I have to tell you.
That's a lot going on.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So Glen, listen, you and me, we met here. We met at Happening Out Television Network, right? We were both working for Queer News Tonight. And then maybe like after a year, we became friends.
Yeah. And then we became like sort of inseparable. Now we text each other all the time.
All the time. All the time.
And then we have dinner at least once a week.
At least once a week. But I still needed to...
This is the only time we get alone now.
I still needed to schedule you in bed with me because we never get time to be just you and me.
I know.
You know, every time we try, somebody always seems to just show up.
Is the Cuban just going to climb in between us at some point during the segment?
No, she's already at work.
Okay.
No, so no Cuban today. No. All right, so let's get to it, okay? I've got so much to cover, and let's see if we can get through it all. So Glen, he's the founder of the Smart Ride, like I told you folks. He's also the restaurant owner of Bona Italian, and he's also a travel director. With all these titles under your belt, Glen, do you intimidate people? Do you think that you intimidate people?
I don't think I intimidate people. But having said that, there are moments when I go out that I'd like to be anonymous, and when somebody finds out, I get introduced as, oh, that's Glen, the founder of the Smart Ride. It usually will change the dynamics. And so I remember being out at a fundraiser, and there was this really cute guy. He had no idea who I was, and we were flirting with each other. And someone running over like as if there was some top secret mission that was about to happen. And he's like, do you know who you're talking to? And not to me, I knew who I was talking to. and he said, you know what, I need my glasses. He didn't say that, but yeah, that's better. I can think more clearly.
No, I get it.
And so the guy was like, well, what? And he started saying, like, don't say a word. Just shut up. Like, let me just be anonymous. I want to be anonymous.
Okay. So the answer to my question is yes, you intimidate people. Yeah, sort of. Sometimes.
Not with a gun or anything.
Not with a gun, but you don't have to. You're Jewish.
Take the cannoli.
See? Or an Italian. Why is Bona named Bona? Were you at ends? Did you want to call it Nona?
No, Nona never came up.
Okay. Sorry, I came up with that myself. I was like, maybe it's supposed to be Nona's.
No, so when we bought Bona was already named Bona, and it's been Bona since 1979. And the idea of changing the name just didn't seem to make any sense.
Okay.
And then recently I found out from this lady, I think her name is Paula, that there's a secret gay language called Polaris. And in the olden days, even older than me or Al.
Okay.
Polaris was a way of letting people know that you were a gay-friendly business, and Bona was the name that you would see on the business, and that was sort of a wink and a nod to the fact. So
that you had to keep the name.
So
of
then when I
course.
found that out, I was like, well, they asked me if there was any relevance to it, and I was like, I don't think so. It's always been owned by heterosexuals. And then I found someone sent me a article from Stonewall, and before 1979, there was a gay restaurant with our address, with a different name, and it said the gayest place in Wilton Manors, and we're open till 2 a.m.
Oh,
And that's before Wilton Manors was
Wilton
Manors.
Manors. Yeah. Is there something on your menu that you're surprised is so popular?
You know, the most basic items. Like the fact
Like
that
the pizza? Because people can't get enough of your damn pizza. Holy
pizza,
crap.
yeah, is number one on that. Chicken Parmesan. And like, I didn't even realize it because I never really talk about the chicken Parmesan, but it's everyone's comfort food.
Yeah.
So it seems to be the thing. It surprised me that is still number one, is for the overall seller, not, then you get to specialties and things.
No,
like that.
and I think that it's one of those things that, okay, first of all, if you've never been a Bona, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, right? But if it's your first time, then you go to something you've had before, right? Like a chicken parm. And then you're like, okay, the sauce is fantastic. This was made all right. I'll try something new the next time. So maybe that's why. Glen, what's a travel director? Like I said, we've been friends for 3 years, and it's like Chandler on Friends. I have no freaking idea exactly what the F a travel director is, but you're gone a lot to do it.
Yeah,
so
I'm not really sure either, but it pays, and so like I continue to do it. It's basically a corporate event planner. So ABC Carpet. I don't know why that came up, but ABC Carpet.
And why carpet? Because I'm a lesbian?
Well, no, I was just looking at
okay. Just wondering.
Plush
I make sure.
bedding. Yeah, my parents had something like this in
on a
orange
rug
in the 70s. It was a rug
Are
too.
you making fun of my blanket?
No,
okay.
no, I like the pink.
TP Lords gave me this?
I would. That's very impressive.
I know
but
it.
That doesn't make me want to embrace it anymore. But good for you.
So you put together, so you help coordinate.
So an event's happening, and I'm asked as an independent contractor to come on board, and usually there's anywhere between just me, which was last week, to up to like 30 of us, and we do everything. I specialize pretty much in arranging pre and post travel for an event and people getting into town and getting from the airport and stuff like that. So. Yeah, so it's a lucrative thing.
No, I get travel South Florida, and and it's not only South Florida because you travel all over the country too.
I prefer not to stay in South Florida.
Do you really?
Well, yeah, because I'm a Delta Airlines whore, and I like the points. Because then when we decide to go on a trip, there's points.
Okay,
and we don't have to go coach.
Well, I agree, you're a whore. So you were told that you were not going to live 10 more days or something as a result of full-blown AIDS. How many years ago was that?
That was 1993 August.
1993, and we are here in 2023. So it's 30 freaking years.
30 friggin' years.
I had read somewhere that all you wanted was to get to your sister's wedding or some shit like that, during that time. Does that are they still married?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness, because that would have sucked that you mustered all your wedding.
Energy and it didn't even last. Yeah, that was awful because there were a couple of things. One is being told what to do and being told
what you can't do.
Or you're not going to be around next week. And it's like, well, that's not your choice. That's my choice. And and then knowing my sister was getting married, I was like, I didn't want to be the focus of he's dead and my sister's getting married. Same thing as I didn't want to be the focus of my sister was pregnant. I didn't want to be the person that was replacing the person who's being born.
Yeah.
So there was always a reason to, now's not a good day to die. Either way, sometimes it said, I think there was a t-shirt I had that said, fuck 'em, survive.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. But was that what gave you the kick in the butt to start the Smart Ride?
No, the Smart Ride was a good 10 years later. And my ex, Mark, who my business partner.
I love Mark. Hi, Mark.
He rode in the original incarnation of Smart Ride, which was the Dan Pilata rides out of California. And it was Florida Age Ride in 1995 or 1996. He rode with my really good friend who now lives in Lynn, who lives in Chicago now. Her son had just died, and she moved from Chicago here to take care of him. And she and I became very close. I was volunteering for an organization she worked for, and she was doing all the trial studies and stuff. And she went to ride, but that back then they stayed in tents. And Lynn was like, if I go into the tent,
I can't stay in the tent.
I'm not going to get back up. And so I was like, you're not going to get me in a tent. whether I can stand up or not. But there's no Four Seasons, so we'll deal with a motel and make a good story out of it. So I followed them, and I volunteered, and I had my car everywhere and made oatmeal cookies because that's what you do.
Yum.
Yeah, and then I would pick her up every night, and we would stay in a motel, and I'd bring her back the next morning to ride out. And I fell in love with the logistics of the event. Then I went to volunteer for them, and then it became it had like 2 more reincarnations. Or reincarnations? That's a flower.
That's okay.
Incarnations.
No. Incarnations. Or evolutions.
Evolutions, that's a better word.
Yeah.
It changed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It reinvented itself.
Yeah.
And then eventually that event sort of closed. And they weren't being successful, and they weren't raising money, and they weren't returning it, and they had all of the best intentions, awesome organization and stuff, and they had no money at closing that year, and they were down from 1,000 riders to under 200, and with no budget, who else do you ask but the Jew with the big mouth? And so they asked me to speak, and I warned them. I'm like, I'm going to be honest, and I spoke my piece and challenged them and told them how they had done things so wrong by the community.
And then you took it over and said, give me that shit. You're not doing this right. I'm going to turn this into the largest one.
I wish it was as dramatic that, but it was more like, bring, bring. Hello. Mark, could you get the phone? Bring, bring. And then I picked it up, and it was this woman, Julie, and she's like, hey, Glenn, everything is said on the stage. If you'll do it, we'll turn over the ride because we're not doing it again. And so I said, great. Does that mean the tents too? And she said, yes. And then I went to the warehouse, and they had a rat infestation, so the tents were off the table.
Oh, God.
So we ended up in a hotel, and that's why we're stay at Hawks Cay in the Middle Keys.
Which I can't wait to stay there. Is it the largest bike ride? Is it the largest HIV/AIDS bike ride in the country, or the second largest?
It's the second largest. AIDS Life Cycle in California is much bigger than us. They're a 7-day ride. They go from Los Angeles to San Francisco, or San Francisco to Los Angeles. Yeah, they raise like $18 million. I think this year they raised like 12 or 13 million. They're the largest, but I could never do what they do, and they could never do what I do. I mean, our giving back 100% is not possible. I can get an Olive Garden to give us dinner for 750 people for one night, but I can't do that for 7 nights.
Yeah.
And they could never do it for 7 nights. So that, if we were to grow to that size, it would be a whole different animal, and we probably couldn't guarantee the 100%.
So this year marks the 20th year of the Smart Ride.
It does.
And
I feel like I need to look at you a little bit
please look at me. Don't you look at me enough? Are you tired of looking at me?
All right, then let me look at the camera.
Okay,
You're
no,
right.
you can no. So I got this from another interview that you recently did. Okay, and you said in 2003 I was challenged with creating what was to become the Smart Ride, a 2-day, 165-mile bicycle ride that would raise money and awareness for HIV/AIDS. My plan was to give back every penny our participants raised. The risk was great. I had no way of knowing how I would meet the expenses of producing this 2-day event. I didn't know if people would believe in me, that I would find the sponsors to pay for expenses, but I knew the risk was worth it. I also knew I could not go back on my word, and knew that I had made a promise of 100% raised. Okay? All right. So, I am just a little lesbian from New Jersey. All right. And I don't know shit about nothing. You know that, right?
Shine demure.
Right. Yeah. Shine demure. You boast, and I'm so proud about the fact that you give 100% of the proceeds back. Explain to me, isn't that how it should be? I mean, like, I know that there are expenses. I know that people have to live. I get all of that. But shouldn't that be what most of these nonprofit events do?
I think we should strive to get to as close as that as possible.
Okay.
That's, like you said, people have to get paid and all of that. It should be closer to that, and that's probably one of my levels of frustration over the years, is seeing a lot of good people try to do good things, but not always do it to a way that the community really benefits from it. And I don't always feel the community holds us all accountable enough.
Wow, what a good point.
So, I say, if you believe in something and you want it to do good, like, ask the question after the event. Great, you brought in all this money, but how much are you keeping and how much are you giving away, and what programs are actually being helped by it? The thing about Smart Ride is, like, I know exactly where the money goes. I know that 100% of it goes out. I know that it's tangible. I know that you can ask.
And that's something you can share. Like if someone were to say to you, "Can I see something that shows me where the Smart Ride money goes?" You're able to give that and provide that.
Yeah, we have our 990s and stuff like that. The thing with the 990 is it also shows all your income. So our sponsors that help pay for housing is like almost $100,000 for that overnight. We have sponsors that help offset the cost of that. Everyone pays a registration fee. The registration fee helps offset the food and things that, the insurance and things that we have incurred over the years and gotten larger. The very first year, I think it cost $13,000 to produce it. Now our housing is 90,000.
Holy crap.
So, and things keep going up.
Wow. Glenn, I know that there's PrEP now and there's all kinds of meds and treatments. Do you think that there'll be a cure in our lifetime? Does it matter? I mean, like you've outlived everybody already when they told you had 10 freaking days, okay? I mean...
Fucking pissed me off again. Sorry for using the F word twice.
No, please. I love it. I love when he curses because it's like we're doing something bad. You know what I mean?
It's got a little naughty.
Do you think that's going to happen?
Yes. And I think that...
And you said that quickly. Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% sure.
Okay.
I think there's a couple of things. I think that there's medications out there that are definitely been proven that they can stop it. And then just PrEP itself. I mean, you don't have to get it. If you're responsible, if you care about your body, if you care about your partners, you don't have to get it. Like there's no reason anymore. Like we know what causes it. We know that if you're on medication, you can't pass it. So, I've been undetectable forever, and U equals U. I can't transmit. Theoretically, 100% based on most doctors, I cannot pass it to anybody else. So if I'm being responsible and I'm taking my meds and I'm meeting other people, they should not get sick. My ex never got it. My two exes never got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and those are real facts, folks. These aren't things that are just thrown out. Educate yourself.
Right. And our world has changed. It's about HIV now. When we started the ride, it was about AIDS. And when the first ride started, it was all about AIDS, and it was about people dying and the dignity to give them to be able to die. And people were raising this money so that their friends didn't go homeless, that they got food, that they were able to pay for their medications, that they were able to keep their dog.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing. The Pet Project was, it made a huge difference. When you're home alone and laying in bed, and I did that in 95 and 96, just really miserable, wasn't eating, I lost a ton of weight. There's your furry friend.
Yep.
And if you have to choose between eating and keeping your animal, you're going to keep your animal.
You're going to keep your animal.
Even if it means you end up in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. Completely. Because you're not going to, because who else is there for you? Unconditional love.
Completely.
Everyone else had to go to work and you're sitting in the house.
And who's with you? Your furry friend. Right?
Yeah.
Right? She never lets me forget that she got me through cancer.
Right.
And also sobriety. And also COVID. My dog has gotten me through way too much.
Mine's not old enough, but she's on my shirt.
Oh my gosh, she's so cute. Yeah, I love that. Look.
So that's my little pajamas for today.
I love that. We should all get shirts with our pets on it. Do you have any survivor's guilt? Like of outliving a bunch of people?
Yeah, I do. And I think on some level that's probably part of the reason Smart Rate exists. There is definitely a survival guilt that I made it and so many didn't, and why was I lucky enough to be that person? And what do I need to do to honor that and to respect those who are no longer here? Yeah, without a doubt. Smart Ride was a vessel or a way to let people that did survive prove that they were. Tangible is not the right word, but that they were there and that they could ride and they could do the impossible when they weren't supposed to survive. It gives people that have lost somebody, have lost a partner, are positive and their partner is no longer around, a reason to remember, not that you ever forget, but to celebrate their life by being on this bicycle and being alone in your head for a couple of days and, remembering all those folks that are there helping you along the route. This year, because it's the 20th, we're bringing in the 20 panels from the National AIDS Quilt. And we're going to ask everyone, so at the beginning of each ride, we ask people to write why they ride. We've done banners, we've done all kinds of things. This year, they're all getting a piece of fabric, and they can be able to write that message on it. And then we're asking them to ride or crew with it the entire first day. So that person's with them the entire 100 miles. And then on the second day of the ride, we're going to collect all that fabric. And the original lady who helped sew most of the original quilts, her name is Gert. She's coming in from San Francisco. She's going to collect all that fabric. What?
And she's going to make a new quilt.
She's going to take all that fabric, sew them into the lotus position. And you know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just had to throw that out there. And it's going to be made into a final quilt for Smart Ride. And at our check party in January, which it's going to be unveiled and added to the national quilt as
Oh my
our
God.
little touch of it.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
She better get to sewing. She's going to have
her
a
hands
big
are
ass
probably
job.
like this at this point. You know, they're probably all gnarly and stuff from
she'll
all
be
those
all
years
right.
of shoving the fabric through.
No, she'll be fine. It'll be awesome. So we mentioned 20 years of the Smart Ride.
Yes.
This is your 20th and the last year.
Yes.
Okay, you knew I had to touch on that. So can you tell our audience why it's the last year?
Yeah. You know, after 20 years, things have changed. You know, I just went on that, you know, when we first started this 20, 30 years ago, it was a death sentence. And the mission was different. And people didn't know who these benefiting agencies were as they transitioned from people dying to surviving. The community didn't know who they were because you wouldn't know who they were unless your doctor or your hospital sent you. That was the only way you would find a Broward House or any of these organizations. And so that changed when people stopped dying in masses, and they were able to focus on education, awareness, and care.
And living.
And living as part of, the care of those who are infected but are still with us. And so it's now about that. And as a result, and I think in part because of Smart Ride, we help the community get to know these agencies and get them to be part of our community and to partner with them and make a difference. And there are events and things that have transpired over the last 20 years that have become staples in a lot of these communities. I think you and I talked the other day about Real Men Do Drag in Key West, or Kick Up Your Heels in Tampa. Kick Up Your Heels in Tampa last year raised $12,000 in one night. This year, a week ago Saturday, they did the exact same event. They raised $20,000. That community and that group is now dedicated to that agency, and the community looks forward to this event. It's a fun one-time-a-year thing, and they'll still make the money. We just won't be the middleman on it. And so there's lots of those kinds of things that are still happening that will keep the community engaged and alive, because these agencies are now part of their world, part of their life. Okay. You know, they go out to support everything they do. So I think that it's a time, we're at a point right now where it's a good time to bow out. You know, it's 20 years. A lot of people are aging out. You know, I'm 63. A lot of our writers are 66, 67. You know, they're not going to keep writing for no reason other than physically. You get to a point where you're like, it's not feasible.
Yeah.
And so bringing in the next generation, you know, they see HIV as HIV, not as AIDS. And so you have to find those things, whether it be Kick Up Your Heels or any of those events that will meet that need. And then, you know, look at how many events that are now part of our community that are no longer affiliated with the traditional medical nonprofits. So you've got all these beach parties and pool parties and all that stuff that's going on. That's where you know where your awareness and stuff should be. You've got massive amounts of people showing up.
You had initially handpicked, it seemed, Todd, to take over your position. You know, Todd Delmay, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He's an incredible human being. Him and his husband, they've done so much for our community. He himself.
One of the reasons we have marriage equality
is because of them. You know, they're a part of my Hollywood Pride, the Dolphin Dems. I mean, I can go on and on. They are in this community big time.
Yes.
And so when initially you said that you were going to step down and then Todd came, I thought, okay, you know, fueled by 500 bicyclists and 250 volunteers, Todd's going to do it. He's going to do it, you know, just like Glen did, and he's going to take it to the next level. Now here we are, and it's going to be the last year, and Todd has decided to take a position over at SAFE as the new ED. What do you say to folks that say you're being selfish, Glen? You know, why don't you stay on a few more years, or ask somebody in the community to stand up and take it over? What do you say to that person?
So the first thing is, because our board didn't take this lightly.
I bet.
You know, this was not like, okay, let's all get together. You know what? Let's have coffee and, you know, smoke a cigarette and decide we're just going to shut the thing down. It took a couple of weeks of a lot of conversations and looking at what are our other options that are out there. One of the options was to go through the process of finding a replacement.
Okay, and so that did happen.
Yes, and we decided that that's what this last year was about. And I had been asking for like 5 years, you know, it's time.
Really? You had been asking for 5 years?
Well, for 5 years I've been wanting that. I didn't want to be on the stage at 60.
Okay.
You know, I'll be 63 this year. Like, my goal was not to, you know, selfishly, I, you know, would like to be able to do other things. And I have other things that I do, but I would like, you know, to get, you asked me about, you know, sort of that anonymity and being, unapproachable. And the ride has kept a little bit of that. It kept me from some things.
It has.
Yeah. So the timing was right for it. Todd was given an opportunity.
Was he given an ultimatum?
No.
Was he given an ultimatum by Save, like, hey, you either choose us, you can't do both. I'm sorry. Nothing like that happened.
No, Todd really wanted to do both. And we as a board just felt like that was just too much of a conflict for us.
Okay.
Save has deeper pockets and is paying really well. And Todd is well deserving of that. And Todd wants to be in politics, and Save is very politically based.
Yeah.
If Todd had taken a job at Home Depot as a second job, we wouldn't have had a problem because we wouldn't have seen that as a conflict.
Of course.
But just the reality is that Todd should do this job. It's what he's meant to be.
Yeah.
And for us to hold him back would not be fair to him or his family. It wouldn't be fair to his future career. And you know what? In hindsight, he did us, I don't want to say a favor, but he made us take a deep look at what we do and why we were trying to make it survive. Was it selfish just to keep it going?
Were you forcing it?
Were we forcing it? And were we going to see it slowly die, not for not Todd's fault or anyone else's, but just, the world changes. And how many times can you keep doing the same thing and people still get excited about it?
Yeah.
You have to change the destination. You have to do something to mix it up.
Yeah.
And there are other things out there now that are accomplishing some of those things for us.
And I see that fit. I see, Orlando, my God, incredible. Tony, oh my God, incredible. I see Todd in that same group of men that can definitely be part of Save and do and take it, take it where it needs to go. But he freaking definitely could not have done both. Glen, there's just no way. I've seen your ass the next day when you got back from Key West in November, already doing some shit for the following year. So that was just a never. Like never.
It just, and I appreciate the fact that he thought he could, and he didn't want to disappoint us, and all of that, and we talked about being good to your word.
Yep.
But I think that it would have been unfair to him, and I think in a year from now he would have said that this was a mistake. I should never have done that. So. And
it could have caused more damage than good at that point, maybe.
Right.
We don't.
Obviously, we don't know. Maybe he would have been Superman, and we would not have been a kryptonite. I wouldn't have been a kryptonite, but no. And there was no. We were never told that he was given an ultimatum. He never said to us, I can finish out the year, but I'm not going forward.
Okay.
We were more of a mindset is that at the end of this year, whether you want to continue on or not, we see it as a conflict. When you go to a chamber meeting, whose hat you going to wear? Whose business card you're going to give out?
No, you're right.
You're going to give it out to the person who's paying you 3 times what we're paying you? Like, the reality is...
You're going to give out that card.
And you go to see a sponsor, and, there's definitely an overlap, especially when it comes to LGBT issues.
Yeah.
Whether they're medical, whether it be political. And the same kind of thing is like, who gets the money? And how do you manage that?
It's true. It's true. Like you said, I know it's a hard wording to say that he did you a favor, but I get what you're saying.
Right.
It's better sooner than late. You know what I mean? Like, you ever go out with a guy a couple times and he smokes and that's a deal breaker, right? But you're going to go out with him again because you're going to think that the third time maybe he's not going to smoke. Like, it doesn't work that way. Right. Do yourself a favor and, alleviate the time.
It's never the big things. It's always the little things. It'll be a sponsor that says either us or them.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, there's a morality thing, and I don't think you should be put in that position.
No.
To have to make that decision.
No. Of course not.
I think that it's and like I said, there's been over the last 2 weeks since this announcement was made, it's given me a bunch of epiphanies of things that I knew, but all of a sudden clicked after the decision was made. That was like, you know what, this was the right thing.
This makes sense.
Yeah, and we've had lots of conversations since as a community and stuff. And
I bet. And there's going to be a million more conversations to be had.
And there's been very few. There's really only been one less than pleasant person who sent me a less than desirable note telling me I was selfish and the community looks forward to it. And I was like, who are you? And are you even part of our event? I haven't seen you even pop up like at closing ceremonies, running over to me with a hug going, this changed my life. The other 600 people that sent notes could not have been more endearing and thankful and appreciative. And so you have to focus on that.
Yeah, no, but our community and us, we're so marginalized that we take that one negative and carry the shit around, instead of the 300 messages and your friends telling you, obviously we're supporting you, Glen. If it is a decision, it's for a reason, and let's support, from the smartride.org website, it says, we are hanging up our helmets packing up our jerseys and emptying our water bottles.
It's a good line, isn't it?
It is. The 20th anniversary Smart Ride taking place November 17th through 18th, 2023 will be our last. We will all walk away with our heads held high and a legacy you can be proud of. What does that make you feel?
That nothing but pride. Absolute nothing but pride, because I really do believe that we have an incredible community, and it branches out to not just across our state, but our largest group of participants is out of state. Last year we had 39 different states represented on this event.
Oh, how cool!
So our reach has been far, and everyone's come in, and it's a unique community that does nothing but care for each other on that weekend. And I've said many times, people go, "Oh my God, this was the best 2 days of my life." I'm like, it's been the best 6 months of your life, because you've gotten up every morning on a weekend and before the sun rose, left your partner as a divorcee basically, and joined this new little family where you had flat tires and fixed it together, where someone got road rash and you helped each other. By the time you get to the ride, it's a culmination of that 6 months of fundraising and Jello shots sold at bars and stuff. And
your
then,
family by
and
the
your
end of
family.
it. My
and
goodness.
then you see people you haven't seen in a year. I mean, that'll be the hardest part of this, is that there are people that I've known for 20 years that are part of this community that you just won't see on a regular basis. But, I got something up my sleeve.
Oh, for sure. I think, I bet. What happens to the beneficiaries? Miracle of Love, Pride Lines, and Broward House, which are like three incredible people.
Yeah. And AH of Monroe, and Epic in the coast, West Coast, and then Compass and Palm Beach.
And I love Compass. Yeah. You guys.
They're going to be fine. We met with the execs before we met with anybody else, and we had a Zoom call, and everyone was crying and at the same time smiling, and their sense of family amongst the six of them is very unique to nonprofits. And, there was a little bit of like, well, what about the family? And so, immediately we actually planned a getaway for the six of us a week from Friday.
Love it.
We're going to all get together for lunch, and we're escaping, and from Orlando all the way down to Key West and across from Tampa, they're all coming for lunch, and we're going to they're driving over and driving up, and we're taking Brightline.
I love that.
And we're going to spend the day together. We talked about getting away for a weekend, and I know that you probably after the ride we'll do that.
I love that.
Yeah. So that part of it's not going to end, and they'll be fine, because they also understand that there are these events that have been created that will continue on, that will continue to bring them money. And there's going to be one-day rides. I mean, Key West already does a 100-mile ride, and last week they have one team. Their team down there, it became a 501c3.
Oh, that's great for them.
So they'll be able to continue doing it there. And I know Miracle of Love has been doing, they're of all of our agencies probably one of the most disproportionately affected by HIV and AIDS. They deal mostly with the minority, with the Black community, and you can get everyone free PrEP, the drug that keeps you from getting HIV, but they can't always get people to take it because of stigma, because of the church, because people think I'm gay if they see the pills.
Yeah.
So they have a unique market that's still more desperate than, say, the white cisgen men that lives in Broward County, that we're not as affected by it anymore because have had more access.
Yes. Yeah.
But they're gonna do some kind of ride.
They will.
And I believe that we've offered up to all the agencies that on orientation day they can have a table, and if they're thinking about doing something, they can put out an interest, and people can sign up
to the riders,
to the riders,
that's
and to
a
the
great
crew.
idea, Glenn. That's wonderful.
And then that way, if they decide that they want to do something, and they're all, they'll have the names and stuff. We're clearly going to provide them whatever they need, even after we shut our doors. Because if they want to do something, we've got supplies and stuff that, if they announce it, we'll give them some of the equipment that we have. Why not?
I love that. Do you need jock straps to do a ride? No, right?
You don't need a jock strap, but it's a nice accoutrement.
See, I don't have an ass. I was on the line for titties twice, and I must have
missed the ass thing?
I missed the ass line.
I'm glutimously challenged myself.
Okay.
I come from a very flat Jewish back. And they have those new Archer pants or whatever it is, to supposedly pick it up and lift it. Maybe it's making it better, but it's still not turning heads. But you know what? You get on that bike. So I'm not... personally, I'm not really an ass man. I'm more of a face and chest man.
Okay.
But when
hairy chest, does it have to be? No, you like no hair?
No, a little hair, but not like when it starts growing out of our orifices. That's just not me.
Okay.
I was never, God bless you, and
No, if you like the bears and you like the hairy, everybody loves what they love. Yeah, exactly. I get it.
So, not hating on the bears. Just, I don't want to choke on it. Well,
or get lost in it.
Or get lost in it. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to have to sit there combing it out at night. I don't even remember what the question was. Neither do you.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
It always matters, but it doesn't matter right now. I know a favorite quote.
Oh, ass. I remember.
Oh, that you're not an
Fluency
ass man.
challenge. So I'm not an ass man. So when I turned 50 and I rode on the bike ride, even as a non-ass man, there was a really cute guy with a great ass. And I decided, well, that's the ass I'm going to follow. And so he was a carrot I couldn't catch. He was half my age, but he got me all the way to Key West.
Oh, by following his ass.
By following
Literally.
his ass. Literally following his ass. And at every rest stop, I was like, whatever you do, you cannot leave until I catch my breath.
Just give me 2 more minutes.
I'm begging of you.
Okay, just turn around. Okay,
Yes.
just give me 2 more minutes.
Right.
Okay.
We're still friends to this day.
Oh.
And he actually
Did he
was
still
one.
have a great ass?
Yes, he still has a great ass.
Okay.
Yeah, even
Is
20
it
years
real
later.
or is it like
No, it's real.
made in
It's not
Colombia?
Memorex.
Like, oh, okay.
No, it's real.
Oh, no,
For those
'cause
who
I
don't
don't
know
have
what
a problem.
Memorex is, it's a video thing. But
That's why I said Colombia.
yeah. Okay. But yes, no. And actually, he's one of the few people that I took a call from on Sunday after the announcement because he sent me a text message and said, I can't stop crying. So I called him and he was hysterical on the phone and stuff. And so we got through it together.
Aww.
Yeah. Because he said, for some of their agencies, their execs have said, like, this is half of their career has been Smart Ride.
Wow.
Like, they've been at the organizations 14 years and they've been part of the Right 12 or,
Wowzers.
so
That's a long time.
It's a big part of what they've done.
So I know a favorite quote of yours and I want to share it. Okay? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead.
Anthropologist, yes.
Why? Why is that one of your favorite quotes? How does that make you feel?
I believe people want to do good, and I believe that we can when we come together. And this ride is really about the community. It was basically started by the community. It's supported by the community, and it is on paper something that should not happen. Giving back 100% is not a good business model. It just isn't, and theoretically it shouldn't work. And if I actually sat down on paper and thought about that at the very beginning and said, well, does this make sense? The answer would have been no. So don't do it,
But you took the risk also.
But we took the risk because, yes, and I was willing, as you said earlier, I was willing to put it on every credit card I had. I was not going against my word. I made a promise. And if it was a one-time thing, we were going to give back and do good by the community to the people that needed the money. And I do believe that this small group of people came together and they did the impossible. Mm. Yeah. 100% believe
What an
it.
incredible legacy. I love Jewish people, and you're one of my favorite.
It's a holiday today.
Well, you're one of my favorite Jews, and Yom Kippur was last week. Okay, right?
Rosh Hashanah was last week. That was the New Year.
Oh, okay.
Tonight's Yom Kippur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, today's your day you fast and dump all your sins into the ocean.
Oh.
Or a river.
Okay.
I borrowed your U-Haul in order to put all my sins and take them to the ocean.
I bet. Thanks.
It's always good to have lesbian friends for that reason. Once a year, I need them.
Isn't that when you have to? Isn't that like when you have to atone and do something like that?
Yes, you atone for your sins.
Okay, but you didn't apologize to me for anything you've done to me.
Because I don't think there's anything worthy in our relationship that would need that kind of an apology, nor do I feel like that it would be returned with an apology.
There isn't. No. I would send you back a picture of me like this. That's what would happen.
So, and I bring you a basket of garlic rolls that are probably 2 days old. As in a way of saying I appreciate you.
That's fine because they'll still be good. So I thought that you could teach me some Jewish sayings or words or something. Okay,
we've been kibitzing the whole time we've been here.
What is a kibitzing?
It's like just we're
chit-chatting.
Well, talking about other people.
Gossiping, like the tea.
Gossiping. Yeah.
It's the Jewish tea.
It's the Jewish tea.
How do you say it?
Kibitzing.
Kibitzing.
And we really weren't fetching.
What's fetching?
It's complaining. Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my legs hurt.
Oh, my God, this dog.
Oh, my God, I haven't eaten all day.
Oh, my
it's so
Lord,
hot
I'm so
in here.
thirsty. It's so hot in here. My God, there's so much
Why
pink.
are we here? It's
oh,
so
my
dark.
Lord, why are you wearing a robe? Jesus
do you think
Christ.
This is a tumor? Do you think you think I'm dying? What is that?
Am I supposed to be that color?
Am I supposed to be green? Yeah, so that would be...
Okay, that's that. Tchotchkes.
Yeah.
Just things,
it's just
right?
It's just like little around the house.
Just like little things that you pick up here and there.
It's just things to dust.
Okay, or throw out.
Or throw out eventually. Yeah.
Chutzpah.
Yeah, that's balls.
That's having cojones.
Starting Smart Ride took a lot of chutzpah.
Chutzpah.
Yeah.
Like spunk.
It's spunk. It's like getting on the show every week with Al. That takes chutzpah.
Oh God, that takes a lot more. Because that's exhausting. Yes, and prayer. A lot of prayer.
But that's chutzpah.
Yes, and AA meetings.
Yeah.
Schlep.
Yeah, that's my ex, according to my mother. The schlepper's the one that always like, I need this, and then they're always the one bringing the stuff, carrying your luggage. Yeah, they're schlepping. You're coming out of you come out of the store. Who's carrying all the stuff? The schlepper.
It's a schlep.
It's
Okay.
the schlepper.
And as opposed to the mensch,
A mensch is a person with a good heart that does good things for the world.
like you.
Like a lot of people we know.
Like you. You're my favorite mensch.
Thank you.
Tuchus. Tuchus, is that
Yeah,
butt?
that's
butt,
the two
right?
things both of us are saying we don't have enough of.
Butt.
Yes.
Tuchus.
But.
Tuchus.
Oh,
I
nice
love
tuchus.
that. Nice tuchus
A
there.
nice tuchus.
Can I grab that tuchus? Is it okay if I slap that tuchus?
Zisa Medela,
What's
my
that?
sweet girl. That would be
I
you.
love that.
My grandmother used to say that, not to me. Well, she could have, and I wouldn't. But it was Zisa Portugal or Zisa Medela.
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
You know that I had matzo ball for you yesterday?
I like balls. I don't like them with the noodles. I just went to that new restaurant. They have really good matzo ball soup.
Oh, my Lord. Okay. So, I know that you've had many first dates at Bona. Not you. People that have had their first
Yes.
dates at Bona,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I know people have proposed to people at Bona.
Yes.
I know people that have broken up with people at Bona.
I've known the same people that proposed, also the same couple that broke up. Not on the same day, but yeah.
Any crazy stories that have happened? Like anything crazy that has happened, like there at Bona, like in the middle of something that you
like
just didn't
Las
expect?
Vegas or things that happen at Bona that stay at Bona.
Oh, okay. I mean, I've had friends fight, like my good friends fight at Bona, and I've been there.
Well,
I mean, a lot of
yes,
stuff.
I got a text about that. Come out of the office now.
Come out of the
and
office, I
save
need you. Help
me. Someone's about to go through
Help
the
me.
window. No, I mean, there's been like crazy things over the years. I mean, without a doubt, but like nothing like nuts. I mean, we had the guy punch out the window, but he needed help, and I think he got it. So
Yeah,
that's all that
and I
matters
think you
on
needed
that.
a new window. I don't know why.
Yeah, because the landlord wasn't going to pay for it, so that was the only way to get it was stuff.
Glenn, you're on death row, okay, for murder.
What happened?
You killed
I was
somebody.
fine when I got here.
I know. Maybe a white collar, maybe some like fucking money shit, some like accounting shit or some stuff. What would be your last meal?
Huh. It's a good question.
I know. That's why I do this job.
I know. I mean, I got so many things that I would love. Like brisket's always a good comfort food. Lobster's nice as long as someone takes it out of the shell. I can't deal with all that other noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think everything that you're not supposed to eat is probably part of your last meal. Probably more savory than sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
What brings you joy?
Spending time with you.
Glenn.
Spending time with friends, which would be spending time with you. Yeah, like just watching people smile, doing things that make people smile is probably the thing that gives me the most joy. I don't like, as you know, like I don't like compliments that much, and I don't accept gifts as well as I love giving them. I love surprising someone with the unexpected, something that they mentioned, and then I just find it.
No, I love that.
That brings me joy.
I love that.
Yeah,
so that's
without
your
a
love
doubt.
language. That's your love language.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gifts. I love that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Glenn, I have to say that as a friend, you are constantly teaching me things. Okay. And I appreciate that. There's never a time that I can't go to you and say, hey, do you know anything about this? If you don't know something about that, you'll find somebody who knows something about that, And I just appreciate you and your infinite wisdom. So I want to teach you something.
Okay.
Okay. Don't be scared. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. Okay. And I wanted to teach you about a Latino Hispanic person in history that you might not have heard of. And I want to hear what you think about them.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Go for it.
So it is Hispanic Heritage Month, and that falls every year from September 15th to October 15th. Okay. And during that time, we celebrate Latinos in history that have done awesome things, And so Ralph Laza is one of them. Okay. So Ralph Lazo was born in November 3rd, 1924, and he died in 1992. When Ralph Lazo saw his Japanese American friends being forced from their homes and into internment camps during World War II, he did something unexpected. He went and joined them. Okay. In the spring of 1942, Lazo, a 17-year-old high school student in LA, boarded a train and headed to the Manzanar Relocation Center, one of the 10 internment camps authorized to house Japanese Americans under President Franklin D. Roosevelt's executive order in the wake of Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor a few months earlier. The camps, tucked in barren regions of the U.S., would incarcerate about 115,000 people from 1942 to 1946. 2/3 of them were U.S. citizens. So unlike the other inmates, Lazo did not have to be there. He was a Mexican American. He was the only known person to pretend to be Japanese, so he could be held there willingly. All right. And so what compelled Lazo to give up his freedom for 2.5 years, sleeping in tar paper covered barracks, using open latrines and showers, and waiting on long lines for meals in a mess hall in a place surrounded by barbed wire fencing and watched by guards in towers 24/7? He said he just wanted to be with his friends. His time there would define how he lived the rest of his life as an activist who sought to improve education for underprivileged groups and push for reparations for Japanese Americans who had been held there. So there it is. Ralph Lazo is our person that I wanted to teach you about. What do you think?
I appreciate that. And I think that that's, yeah, there are people in history that, around that same time in Germany that saved so many Jews. And hid them, and whether it be Anne Frank, who's the most famous probably of all of them, but those singular human beings that step up to a challenge and do incredible things, and may never be remembered in the long term as somebody, but because they will never be on the dollar bill, but it's because of those folks that we live a better life and with more freedoms.
Amen. Amen. Yes. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you, Glen Weinzimer. Thank you.
I'm not. The body's not even cold. And who's John?
I don't know who's John. I don't know. I was thinking of who's John. Anyway, thank you, Glen, for being in bed with me. Please go to Bona and Wilton Manors. Follow them on social media. Demand that they bring back the veggie lasagna.
That's a good demand. We can make that happen.
No, I'm just saying the veggie lasagna.
I know
is
you
so
really
damn
like it, and I forgot about it.
God,
But yeah,
I love the veggie lasagna.
There's still a button for it. Just nothing comes out when you push it.
Well, then that something needs to come out when you.
You know what? As we get into season and get busier, we'll put it on the menu.
Okay. Well, okay, and so there are also Bona and Glen is nominated for so many awards and Out SF Your Choice Awards. So make sure that you go and you vote for them as well.
We got 2 days left for that.
We've only got a couple of days left for that. And also join the Smart Ride, right? Put a team together. I'll be there, okay? Go over to the smartride.org and get a team together, raise some money, and do it big because it's the last year of the Smart Ride and it's going to be incredible.
I know, and because you know what? FayWhat's going to be there, and that's one of the reasons you should show up. And we need to raise $2 million for this community.
Just $2 million. That's okay. We'll make it happen. I have a feeling that we're going to go above that. I'm just saying, okay? I'm not riding, by the way, okay? Again, no ass. What is it? Tuchus. No tuchus. So I'll be in the cheer squad. So every time you see me, I'll be giving you some water or...
I'll be in the car waving.
Oh, or I'll be in the car waving next to Glen.
I'll take a hug right now.
Oh, I love you, Glen.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for being on the FayWhat show. You know I adore you.
I adore you too. I'm just sorry you're not throwing your hat in the air as we end this segment, but you can throw the teddy bear in the air. That works.
Make sure you follow him on all social media. Find out what he's doing and what he's up to. And make sure that you go on over to Bona Italian. It is just the most incredible Italian place on the drive, and you will love every minute of it. I'm FayWhat, and we will be right back. So, did you enjoy the show? I know you did. So make sure to click subscribe so you won't miss any of the events, news, or interviews right here on the FayWhat show. Ring the bell at the bottom of the screen, right there, so you'll be alerted every time we're live. You can also click on the Happening Out Television Network logo so you can see all of the shows on the most diverse LGBTQ+ media network. Find out just what we're doing to bring the L and the G together right here on the FayWhat show. Get the week started with me.